Hello there, and welcome back to the channel, to my first ever beer review. Where I'm going to start off with something quite unusual. I'm a great lover of beer, so yeah, I am quite surprised that I haven't done a beer review sooner. Well, we'll start one now, shall we? In Britain, and other places too, especially the United States, people think that Mexico only produces Corona, and that's it. This is just not so. Mexico has a thriving independent brewing scene. I won't say craft beer or craft brewing because I just hate that Americanized term which the Americans coined, I don't know when it was, and it's now creeping into Britain's brewing culture, it seems. Craft beers. Britain's beers back in my day, oh God, I sound old there, don't I? We're all independents, away from the big six, and here in Mexico, away from the big two, Modelo and Cerveceria, or Heineken. I guess this term that the Americans coined is one of these trendy new terms that hipster brewers and Gen Zs like to use. It's not for me, though. In Mexico, I guess there is that trendy term, cervezas artesanales, or artisan beers. And there are a lot of them now. They are independent brewers, but it's a nicer term than craft, in my opinion. Yeah, very big. The scene is very big. Here in Monterey, for example, I think there are maybe 20, upwards to 20 smaller brewers, and you can try many of these at a very nice pub. I guess it is more like a pub compared to many of the others in Monterey, called Almacen 42. They do very nice food there as well. It's called Almacen 42 because they sell 42 different beers from both Monterey and the rest of Mexico. The place where this movement kicked off is Baja California, around Los Cabos, around that area. And there is a very nice place called Baja Brewing Company. I remember going there just to get a couple of beers for lunch and have something to eat. And I ended up staying the afternoon and decided not to travel up to the north by car as I had planned to do some photography. But anyway, it all kicked off there. And yeah, Querétaro is another place. And as I will mention with this beer, Guadalajara too. Yeah, there's an amazing number of brewers in the whole of the country now. As I said, 20 here in Monterey, but in Querétaro, Puebla, many of the other towns, you have so many great beers. There's such a wealth of new beers, and they're wonderful. IPA is, of course, the de rigueur style, but it's not as overly overpowering as the American IPAs tend to be, which tend to be like a hop overload. Here, they're a little more subtle, more based on British style, in my opinion. The taste profile is more like a British IPA. And yeah, I'm very happy to have found this new beer movement here in Mexico. When I arrived here in Monterey, I was very happy to find the Sierra Madre Brewing Company. Actually, it's not very far from the house. I could probably walk there, actually. And they've been going for 20 years now. Almost the time I arrived, or probably at the time I arrived. And it was so nice to find such a variety of beers, which were not just lager types, as I had the same idea as everybody else that you could only get Corona or whatever here in Mexico. I do remember there was another one. It was called Casta. And they were lovely. They were lovely porter style. It was nice brown ale. There were like 3, 4, and the labels were fabulous. That's what I liked about them. But they were bought out by what is now the Heineken Brewery here in Monterey. And I'm sure the recipes that they had, which were wonderful, kind of made their way into the range of Bohemia beers that you now can get. Casta was owned by a guy called Mauricio Fernandez, who was the ex-mayor of San Pedro and quite a divisive figure for many here in Monterey. He's now created a new beer called Minerva, and it's also the same name as his rather fancy museum as well. I must seek out this beer, Minerva. Apparently it's in a very nice presentation, almost like a Belgian style, with again, nice label design, a bit like Casta used to be. I must also try and find out what his museum is like. I must go and visit that one day. It's up in San Pedro. Apparently there are good reports. It's supposed to be a very nice and very good museum, full of various knickknacks, if you can call them, prehistoric pieces and others, knickknacks. But I must go and visit, see what it's all about. So, what is it that I'm going to try today? Well, I mentioned, along with Baja California, another of the forerunners of the artisanal beer movement is Guadalajara. And in Guadalajara is the brewery Minerva. Now, this beer was made to celebrate their 21st anniversary. They've been going that long. I didn't realize. Doesn't time fly? And the beer is called Mimangosa. And apparently, according to the packaging and the bottle, it says experimental beer, whatever that is. So, hold on to your hats. Let's try something experimental, shall we? So, what's the beer? Well, I found this on Amazon. I'm trying to remember what it was I was looking for, but I came across this one, the Mimangosa by Minerva. I like the packaging that companies here in Mexico tend to use. Rather nice, very attractive. As you can see, there's nothing inside, mainly because the bottle of beer is in the fridge chilling. But yeah, it's to celebrate 21 years of the Minerva Brewery. And what does it say on the back? Well, apparently, to celebrate 21 years of the history of the brewery, they have produced this experimental ale, which is inspired by that drink, mimosa, champagne, orange juice, usually popular in weddings, especially for breakfast. I wonder if I can have this at breakfast. Anyway, so it's made with a yeast called lalvin. I haven't heard of that kind, but apparently it's used in the fermentation of sparkling wine, so like champagne, prosecco, spumantes from Italy, etc., with the addition of some tropical mango pulp, which is completely natural. Looking at the shape of this, I would say that it's probably the Ataulfo mango, which is absolutely gorgeous mango that we get here, very seasonal, very nice mango. I like them. They're a little green, they're sharper and very nice. Anyway, it says refreshing, vibrant, and festive. Mimangosa celebrates our coming of age with passion, creativity, and flavour. Cheers. And it even gives you the ingredients, which you don't normally find on a bottle of beer. And all it says, water, malt, mango pulp, hops, and yeast. That's it. How natural could a beer be? Look forward to this. So, not only did you get a bottle of beer, quite a large bottle actually, 650 millilitres, you also get this rather nice glass, a chalice to be exact. There you are. You can see me just behind, but very nice glass, very nice goblet. Rather in the shape of a champagne flute, probably to reflect it being kind of mimosa inspired drink. Yeah. Let me get the beer from the fridge and we will continue. Okay, so here is the bottle. Isn't that nice? Isn't that a nice colour? I mean, the label is gorgeous. I do love a nice beer label. I did used to collect them. I did have a collection of ones from the early 1900s, which I sold for rather a nice sum on eBay. But there we are. It's nice, isn't it? So, let's see what it's like. Let me open it, and we will see. Give me a moment. Ooh, nice sound. Okay, hopefully my beer pouring skills will be up to speed. There we are. Coming out very nice. It's a lot paler than I thought. Oh yeah, there we are. Ooh, I'm not near the glass. I can smell the mango. Now, for those people who are used to beers like Tecate, Corona, and others like that, this is not a beer that is as clear and purified as you are probably used to. But doesn't it look nice? Let me turn it around to show you the Minerva logo. That nice? Yeah. Little cloudy, but that I think is due to a combination of the mango pulp and the yeast having a little play together, a little reaction. But, oh, yeah. I mean, the idea of fruits in beers is definitely a Belgian style, like the cherry beers mixed with lambic, and the framboises as well. Framboise, that's Spanish. Framboise is the Belgian style, but a little top up to get the head going a little more. There we are. So, there we are. Let's try it, shall we? Not a strong mango aroma as I had expected. But it is rather nice, the aroma. Oh, so nice to have a good beer. A beer with aroma. That's one thing you don't really get with many Mexican beers, is an aroma. Tecate, Corona, they're not really brewed for aroma. And people do drink them out of the can or the bottle. And I would be rather sad to see somebody try and drink this out of the bottle. Heathens, that's what I say. Oh, oh, that's got it. You would think mango would be nice and sweet, but I think these are a greener Ataulfo mango. Look at that. It's this sourness. Very lambic style, probably because of the yeast. The spumante style of yeast, where you get this sourness. Oh yeah, that is such a refreshing beer. It's only 4% alcohol, which is not that high when you consider most beers, Tecate, Corona, about 4.5%. Go up to 5% on a Bohemia, maybe 4.8. But 4%. You don't need anything too strong in the summer. This is a gorgeous summer beer. Oh, very complex flavour. Fruit is not there just to make it taste of fruit for those people who are not used to the taste of beer, thinking, ooh, mango flavour, that would be a nice little drink. No, the mango is there purely as a note. Yeah, it's purely there as a note that makes you enjoy the flavour that bit more. You still get the flavour of beer. It's not like drinking a liquid ice cream. But, oh, just such a lovely aroma. That is so nice. I think there's yeast in the bottle, which is probably why it's cloudy the way it is. So it'd be rather nice to see somebody try and drink it from the bottle and find that the yeast has a nice effect on the bowels, which used to be the case with, what was the beer? White Label? Whitbread? White Shield. People in, if you know anything about the British beer Whitbread White Shield, people drinking from the bottle would have a kind of rather quick toilet visit. But I don't think this is the kind of yeast that would do that. An ale yeast would do it, but this is very wine-like in flavour. Yeah, this is very nice indeed. Yeah. Would have been nice if they have two glasses to share the bottle. Two of these glasses, because their glass is 0.4 of a litre, and the bottle is just over 0.6 of a litre. Would have been nice for sharing. That is gorgeous. It is like a mimosa. Yeah. I see where they get it from in the description on the back. It is something you could have at a garden party, as we have in Britain. Garden party to celebrate. Little flute of this beer. Or at a wedding. Any kind of celebration. It's a very celebratory kind of beer. And I can see why they've produced this for their 21st anniversary. Celebrate her 21st birthday. Or a quinceañera. It's experimental ale, but the experiment really has worked. That is fabulous. I've never tasted another beer quite like this. I've tried many a beer over my many years of life, and yeah, I like the lambics of Belgium with their cherry infusions, raspberry infusions, various others which have got complex flavors. This is very complex. It is gorgeous. Simply gorgeous. No other way to describe it, really. You don't, sometimes, I mean, it's 4%. Really, you don't want a beer that's too strong. What you want is flavor. And Minerva, with all their beers, whether it's their colonial lager, their stout, their IPA, whatever they have in their range, especially La Diosa, the White Goddess beer and their ITA, the Imperial Tequila Ale, really are incredible beers. Minerva, I would say, is one of the best breweries here in Mexico. And this one just compounds that fact that they are a top brewer. One of the best. I hope they continue making such interesting beers and experimenting more and more. I'd give that a 10. What a gorgeous beer. So, please like and subscribe to my little channel. It's always appreciated. So, see you next time. Bye for now. I wonder what I will look at next. Maybe the Malacca. Maybe that's a good beer to look at next. Okay, bye.